Folks, the troubles continue. They get worse and worse and worse and worse. And I'm just supposed to sit here in the pot and let myself boil so they can eat me up. Well, I'm not down. I am livid. I'm beyond pissed. I'm beyond the pale right now. I mean, this decision right now is absolutely unbelievable. And when I say absolutely unbelievable, I mean completely unbearable, totally against the Constitution and Bill of Rights, totally against one's personal freedom. And I am in shock. I am stunned. And is this going to be all over the news tonight? Yes, but you know what? It's going to be perceived in a positive light. Oh, the police can now really get down to dirty tactics against the bad people out there. They can do what's necessary. All these criminals don't need lawyers. Meanwhile, I've got this other story here where they're starting a database program, a DNA database program for people who they suspect of a felony. You don't have to be convicted. You don't have to be tried in court. You never get your DNA back. You're just in a database for these scum. Oh, and that's okay. DNA collection bill signed into law. It's over at truthnews.us. Area legislators hailed Thursday's passage of Colorado's version of Katie's Law as a means of protecting the public and exonerating the innocent. And here are the criminals behind the bill. We created legislation that is going to save people's lives. Representative Scott Tipton. Representative Cortez said Thursday with Bill Ritter, the governor, I couldn't be more pleased or excited to see the bill go through. Smiles all around, everybody. And here are the criminals, Tipton, Steve King, Senator John Morse. Scum. Let me repeat this. Which requires DNA samples from anyone arrested on suspicion of a felony. No due process. Oh, it doesn't matter. You're not even going to get your lawyer anymore. They'll probably get felony convictions from people who haven't done anything. Yeah, stay in that cell for a week. Pig. Scum. Dog. What is this, Saudi Arabia? The United Arab Emirates? We're going to start letting off machine gun fire 2 feet in someone's face? We're going to start hitting people with boards with nails in it? Is that America? Folks, I usually do not run this hot. But I am so fired up, and I'm not talking about some crappy cheerleading movie that no one gives a hell about. I'm talking about reality. That's where we are right now. We're in a little place called the reality zone. The ruling last week was the latest in a recent string by conservative justices expanding the power of police to question suspects. They don't, right out in the open, we're just going to expand police power. Power to the police. Let's give the jackboots more power to stomp on American citizens' necks. But it does not change the landmark 66 ruling barring the police from questioning a suspect who invoked the right to remain silent or have a lawyer present. Bull! It says right here. Right here. Let me read it for you again. By a 5-4 vote, the conservative majority overruled a 23-year-old Supreme Court decision that barred the police from initiating questioning after a defendant asserted the right to an attorney at an arraignment or similar proceeding. See, this is all doublespeak. This is as Orwellian as it gets. We are living in a time of Orwell like no other. I know every day progresses. Time keeps slipping into the future, no doubt. But this is it. They're like within 3 paragraphs of each other. It says, 5-4 ruling, they can question you without an attorney present, and they don't have to listen to you. And then 2 paragraphs later, it says, it really didn't overrule the 1966 ruling that you can have the right to remain silent until a lawyer gets there. And really, this is just for the domestic police force, the little guys, the sheriffs, the state troopers, the local cops that are always on power trips. In small towns, they're the worst, man. They think their badge just entitles them to everything. They're the boss there. They're the boss. And then 2 paragraphs later, they say, no, we're not going to do that. The decision was a defeat of Jesse J. Montejo, a Louisiana death row inmate. He was convicted and sentenced to death for the murder of a dry cleaning operator during a robbery in 2002. He initially waived his right to a lawyer and was questioned by the police. He told several conflicting stories. Several days later, he appeared in court for a preliminary hearing, and the local judge appointed a lawyer to represent Montejo, who could not find an attorney, which is the way it should be. Now, is this guy a murderer? I don't know. If he is, he deserves to go to jail for it. There's a system for that. But then, and again, 5'4", 5'4". I mean, seriously, what are they doing in the back room? Are they really deliberating this? Are they reading off a script when they do so? Are they playing Parcheesi, rolling dice, smoking blunts? I don't know what they're doing other than enslaving the American populace. We just love our servitude. We just love it. Love it. Eat it up. Folks, I'm taking your calls all 3 hours. 866-582-9933. I want to hear what you have to say about this because it is out of control. I mean, out of control. Let me read the headline for you so you can bring it up yourself. And you don't have to take my word for it. And show it up on the screen as I read the headline, please. Supreme Court rules police can initiate suspects questioning. All while let's merge the Department of Homeland Security with the National Security Agency. It was an agency that didn't need to be built, but we really like the Stasi force. And we're going to have to employ all those people that are going to lose their jobs and their homes and their cars. That's what this GIVE Act was about. That's why they're pumping city year. Meanwhile, we're going to just start collecting DNA of anybody we suspect of a felony. That's a new law, sure. And by the way, in Wisconsin, the courts ruled it's all right to just GPS anybody's car as long as you're a police officer. Otherwise, it's stalking. And it is stalking. You can't put a GPS device on somebody's car, track and trace them without a warrant, and call it investigations. No, that is stalking. You're stalking somebody. You have no probable cause. Otherwise, you'd be able to get a warrant. So let me get this straight. We can now be tracked and traced with a GPS device, arrested, interrogated without an attorney for God knows how long. And then, if they really want to invoke the Military Commissions Act and call you a terrorist, which they're doing more and more. Remember, everybody's an extremist. Everybody's a terrorist with these new domestic lexicon documents. And, they pumped the fear in even further this week with these 4 half-retarded guys. Again, they're always half-retarded. They're always poor. They're always gangbangers. Local gangbangers. That's it. Low-level guys that can't even get guns. They had trouble getting guns. These are the terrorists. They have no links to any other outside groups. Basically, they framed some first-time Muslims coming out of jail. All right? One is literally the IQ level of a retard. I know they want to ban the word, but while I've still got it, I'm going to say it. IQ level of a retard. Couldn't make any bombs. Couldn't get any bomb-making material. Provocatored by the FBI. They're the ones that set the whole group up like they always do. No outside contacts whatsoever. My God. My God. We are, they say that we get the government we deserve. I don't believe that. Some people might be out there sucking their thumb, playing with their iPhone, watching Hannah Montana on the TV with their kid, getting ready for the Cyberbullying Act to come into play. But I'm not. I don't deserve this. My family doesn't deserve this, even though they're ignorant to half of this. My friends don't deserve it either. They're good people. And it's sick. Boy Scouts to fight terrorism. This is the new America. We're here. We're in the new age. The one they just so desperately love, desperately promote. Speaking of that, Alternate did a great article. You want to know how dark these people are? You want to know how sick these people are? Do you really want to know? Back in 2003, George Bush, that's George W. Bush, spoke in front of Jacques Chirac and others. I'm just going to read it for you. You decide. In 2003, while lobbying leaders to put together the Coalition of the Willing, President Bush spoke to France's President Jacques Chirac. Bush wove a story about how the biblical creatures Gog and Magog, were at work in the Middle East, and how they must be defeated. Then he goes into this. In Genesis and Ezekiel, Gog and Magog are forces of the apocalypse who are prophesied to come out of the north and destroy Israel unless stopped. The book of Revelations took up the Old Testament prophecy. You ready for this? And this is what I believe what he read. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. Bush believed the time had now come for that battle, telling Chirac, this is what he told Chirac, you ready? This confrontation is willed by God.